All right, welcome. Today, we're jumping into something fascinating, Bible translation. But, probably not in the way you're thinking. We're going to look at a strategy that's all about translating for the ear, not the eye. And trust me, it might just flip how you think about communication itself. So let's just kick things off with a really provocative question from the source material. What if our greatest success is actually our biggest obstacle? I mean, just think about that for a second. For centuries, right, success in Bible translation has meant one thing, creating a printed book. But what if that very focus, our love for the written word, is actually stopping us from reaching a huge part of the world? And that idea, that paradox, brings us right to our first section, a problem of success. We're going to unpack this and see how our most trusted text-based methods, well, they might be failing the very people they're trying to reach. Okay, so this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of the problem by comparing two totally different mindsets. Over on the left, you've got the literate approach. This is probably what we all know, right? It's product-oriented, all about individual learning and getting that final printed text. But then look at the right side, the oral approach. This is built around community, memory, group understanding. It's a completely different world. The source material argues that our long history with written Bibles has basically given us a literacy bias. It's a way of thinking that just doesn't click with cultures that learn and live orally. So, who are we actually talking about here? This slide gives us the definition of the oral majority. And look, these aren't just individuals who can't read. We're talking about entire people groups, cultures, that learn, share their history, and connect with each other through storytelling, through song, through memory. It's not primarily through written text. For them, a printed book isn't necessarily the most natural or effective way to hear something important. All right, so if the old way has some pretty big limitations, what's the alternative? That's what we're getting into next. Let's introduce the DOBS system, a new strategy that was designed specifically for this exact challenge. So what exactly is this new strategy? It's called the DOBS system, which stands for Disciple Making Oral Bible Strategy. And honestly, the name tells you everything you need to know. Its main goal isn't just translation. It's about making disciples and planting churches right there in these oral communities. It's a strategy with a super clear, mission-focused goal. And these points right here, they really get to the philosophy behind it. You can see right away, the focus isn't on a product. It's about transformation. It's about sparking a cycle of sharing and growth that's meant to be simple and sustainable. The whole idea is to create a spiritual impact that grows organically within the culture and, get this, to equip any committed person to participate, not just the highly trained experts. Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing in theory, but how does it actually work, on the ground? Let's get practical in this next section and see how oral translation really happens. Now, this is maybe the most crucial point to get. DOBS isn't just some new technique or a different set of steps. It's a completely new philosophy. It's a fundamental shift in what we value, right? It's about putting community, memory, and actual life transformation ahead of just producing a physical printed book. And here's the process in a nutshell. It's so simple but really powerful. Look at these 4 steps. First, the group listens to the scripture over and over until they deeply, truly get it. Step 2, they retell it in their own language. Boom, that's the oral translation. Third, and this is so important, the whole community checks and corrects the translation together. And finally, they share it, which naturally leads to discipleship. See how it's this totally organic, group-owned process? Now, I know what you might be thinking. I was thinking it too. How on earth can an oral translation be accurate, without a written text to check it against? That's the million-dollar question, right? And our next section tackles it head-on, ensuring quality and impact. So on the left, you've got the traditional model, right? Outside experts come in, their focus is on a perfect text. But the DOBS model, over on the right, totally flips the script. The focus is spiritual growth. The review process is led by local churches, and the ultimate goal, it's not a flawless product, it's changed lives. And don't think for a second this is just a casual process. It's actually a really robust 3-level review system. First up, you have peer review, right there in the group. Then it moves to community review, where local Bible study groups actually test it out, see how it lands. And finally, there's leadership review, where church leaders make sure it lines up with their spiritual goals. It's thorough, and the key thing is it's completely owned by the community. So after all that, what's the final measure of a good translation in this system? This slide just says it perfectly. The real test of quality isn't some stamp of approval from an outside expert. No. It's the tangible, visible impact you can see, an increase of disciples and the growth of churches in that community. That's the proof. Okay, for our final section, let's just zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture here. This is about so much more than just text. Because what we're really talking about here, as the source material points out, isn't just a different translation method. It's about recognizing that there are completely different ways of understanding, of believing, of living in the world. It's about honoring the fact that people connect with their faith and grow spiritually in ways that might be totally different from our own text-focused experience. And that's okay. And I just want to leave you with this really powerful final thought from the author of the source material, Romelito Mecalino. He says, "The Word became flesh and lived among us, not just as text." Wow, I mean, that's a profound reminder, isn't it? A message can be about life and relationship and community, not just ink on a page. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.